Y'all, listen. If there is one thing I've learned, adversity does not build character. Adversity reveals character. I'm Barbie Bassett, and I invite you to join me and my friends, Therese Apel and Tracy Lee, as we peel back those adversity layers to see what else is revealed. And today's podcast is proudly sponsored by Integrity Restoration's Tub and Shower Refinishing. If your bathtub, shower, or countertops are looking worn out, stained, or outdated, don't go through the hassle and expense of tearing everything out. No, don't do that. Because Integrity Restorations has been serving homeowners across Mississippi for 23 years, specializing in professional refinishing that makes your existing surfaces look brand new again. Refinishing can actually save you up to 75% compared to replacement. And instead of having your bathroom torn up for a week or more, they are in and out in just one day. So for more information, you can call or text 601-672-6591 or visit tubguy.org for a free virtual estimate. There's no need to schedule a time to be at home. Just text a photo of your tub and receive an accurate estimate just in seconds. Integrity Restorations, they are fast, affordable, beautiful results that you can trust. 601-672-6591. And y'all, listen here. We are welcoming you back to another episode. I've got my good friend Therese Apel here with Dark Horse Press. Hey, Therese.
Hey, Barbie. Hey, everybody. Glad to be back.
It is so good to see you again. And our good friend Tracy Lee is not here today. We always talk about this. Tracy's a boss.
She's the boss lady.
So sometimes bosses have to work.
Right.
Unlike the rest of us.
Right.
And so she's not
Unlike the rest of us. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
So Tracy is not here with us today, but she will be back again for another episode. But we are really excited to have my good friend and guest co-host, Gary Mays. Y'all, Gary Mays is the Director of Church Relations for French Camp Academy. He is also the interim pastor for First Baptist Church Rolling Fork. He is a consultant. He is a pastor. He is a fill-in. He is a friend. And here's something else. Gary Mays and his beautiful wife,
Kathy.
I'm having one of those moments.
You've known her for 30
I've
some
known
years.
her
But
It's
40.
been over. Yeah, it's been
40.
over 30 years.
Yeah.
They were my dorm parents.
Yes.
At Mississippi College.
Oh,
Welcome,
wow.
Gary Mays.
Thank you, Barbie. Yes, we were your dorm parents. It's kind of frightening when you think about the years. Isn't
no,
it?
you guys were what, 5 and 6 years old though, right?
Yeah, we were. We were cute little people with cute little people. Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. And now your little people are grown to be big people.
They
now.
are all gainfully employed ministry people. We're all in the family business. They are awesome.
Yes, they are.
When I picture my son, Josh, in the dorm, I picture him in one of those red Corvette Power Wheels
Yes.
up and down the first floor with the college girls.
Yes, remember that so well.
Yeah.
Such good memories. And while no one can replace Tracy for the moment that she's out, I started thinking, like, who would be a good guest co-host for us to bring in? And Gary was the first person that came to my mind.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Because of your experience in the church. And these are conversations that we've had amongst ourselves for, the last year or so. It seems like the church has failed in so many areas, yet it seems like the church is thriving. So I thought that would be a good, way to kind of start this out. I want to hear your thoughts on this, though.
Wow. My history real quickly. By the way, this is like a 3-way win today because I get to meet Therese, which is
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
It's my
Visit with
pleasure.
you, Barbie, and all of our folks.
Uh-huh.
And I also find out where to get my tub refinished.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the best podcast ever.
Oh, thanks.
Tell us about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal. My passion through my adult life really has been the church. And as you remember, actually, from our past, I church planted in Mississippi in 1991. And we were the first Southern Baptist church to do kind of a contemporary approach. Small groups, contemporary worship, dressed down. We were storefront before it was cool.
Yep.
People did not know what to do with us.
Yes.
And just yesterday, I had a great conversation about building community. We were small groups, and some of those small groups were very, very life-giving. And in the life of some of our folks, they were legendary moments, marker moments in their spiritual growth, their community, and their lifelong friendships. And sometimes those work, and sometimes they don't. But to your point about the church, uh, just at the ground level, the church is made up of really imperfect people. And I tell folks all the time, I've been in the church for 50 years, 60 years now, almost. And there are no perfect people, therefore no perfect churches. Of course, I see most people as cartoon characters anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of offsets the expectation that it's going to be perfect. My first church experience as I came to Christ at 13 was probably idealized in my head, but was awesome. But I serve churches who have shut down, they've gone away, segregation issues, hard political infighting. I've seen a lot in 60 years, but they're imperfect people, but it's still the body of Christ. So still viable. But yeah, the church struggles, drifts toward institutional values. So, and I'm sorry if I'm rattling on. Am I
No,
okay,
you're
Barbie?
good.
Are we
You're
all
good.
right?
We're good. Yeah.
So I say this all the time when I visit a church, particularly in the early years, maybe a church plant. I was the first quasi-youth minister guy at a church that started in the 70s. And the conversations were like this. Hey, we just saw a family move into this neighborhood, saw the moving van, and they were taking bikes off of it. I bet they have kids. Let's go meet them, take brownies to them, and invite them to be a part of the church. And we'll just love them real well. 3 years later, the church conversations in that same room were, man, the roof is looking a little rough. We're going to have to figure out some ways to get this roof repaired and to raise some money. Or are people giving? What are we going to need to do to keep this thing going? And I say that's kind of a metaphor for how the drift is toward institution and the building and control and programs and systems. And we all have systems, but it's easy to lose the heart for people and for the kingdom.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I've seen that so many times. Because I think when you get started, you're so excited. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like our Christian lives do that too.
Mhm.
Like, you start off like, oh, wow, me and God. And then all of a sudden it feels like there's rules and it feels like there's all these different complications. And wait, God's not doing what I thought he promised me. So I feel like there's a parallel in those things. But to me, one of the things that I have seen just in my walk with the church is that sometimes it's those financial things that, how are we going to grow the membership? But it feels like sometimes there's a righteousness or power struggle going on a little bit too. It's kind of, well, now that we've established this, here we are, we're holy in front of God. And, therefore now we are some kind of authority. And that authority, that self-imposed feeling, because we're human and you tend to fall into the identity that you feel like you're kind of wedged into. And I feel like sometimes that's what I've seen happen a little bit too, is that the human side of us takes over and we start to feel like God loves me the most, or, that kind of thing.
Or he couldn't love me.
And that's in there
sometimes
too.
that's a
Sometimes,
thing
yeah.
too. I saw a great article the other day, Barbie, that was insightful to me. I've been in churches of all sizes, and without naming 7 names in a row,
Right.
I've been in the big boy corporate church, corporate world, and corporate job there, if you will, ministry. And I've been in the church plant and the small church. I mean, I've done interims at First Baptist Lake, Mississippi, West Carthage Baptist Church.
Yeah.
I'm at Rolling Fork.
Yeah.
And
I love Rolling Fork. I know I already said that, but I needed to throw that out there again. So.
I spoke one morning at a church in Leake County, and I went back, and we belong to Pine Lake in Madison, where our son Josh is the worship pastor. And we love Pine Lake. Chip Henderson, crystal clear, incredible ministry. But it's a big place. And after a few weeks, I had spoken to this one particular church, and somebody said, Gary, how was it? How many people are there? And I said there were more men in the men's room after the service at Pine Lake than there were in the church. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done churches of all sizes. Saw an article the other day and it said, why do business people struggle so much with pastors and authority and church structure? And I thought the article was pretty insightful, and I'll be using it. But the premise was business people, high D, high charging, keep score because it's transactional. Every day we're looking at the bottom line. Every day we're
Mhm.
looking at profit in a pure business model. Every day we're working hard, killing something and dragging it home. The church is about transformation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about transaction.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
the drift, depending on how your church is formed and the polity and the governance and the rest of that, of which there are many, depending on how your church is formed, the dominant voices tend to be transactional instead of transformational.
Yes.
Well, and in the world, and in I remember one particular elder at my dad's church
Mm.
when he was a pastor. The world tends to look at it as the touchy-feely stuff is great, but that's not what we're here for.
Mhm.
And so when you boil it down like that, I have the actual argument all the time, is the greatest commandment love, or is it to follow the rules? And I'm like, it clearly says multiple places which one of these it is. But I feel like you just put it into terms that I had never thought of, that we in today's world there are business minds.
Mhm.
And in a business, if you're saying, yeah, but we sure are helping a lot of people, and they're like, we can't make ends meet, we got to reconcept this. That carries over to a church because that's how our everyday mind is built,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so important to be more in the Word every day, than many of us are.
Do you think that do you think that this is something new with the church, or do you think that this is the way it's been going on since, my parents were little and their parents
Oh,
were little?
yeah, and longer than that, I'm sure. I think the drift, I think human nature, the drift is toward control.
Mhm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
controlling my life. I'm controlling my circumstances. Uh, a false understanding of what a walk with Christ is I can control my own righteousness.
Mhm.
I can be good enough or bad enough, and the culture popularizes that. It's the preacher with the pointed finger. I mean, look at any Hollywood movie where there's a church scene. It's that guy.
Right,
I
right.
mean, that's what we do. So I think the drift has always been toward control. In the in the ministry kingdom world, of which I've been privileged to be a part of some great places and great people, it is hard to quantify what you're doing. The fruit of the spirit is not, it's not a profit and loss at the end of the month.
Right.
And we want to know how did it go? Are we making improvements? What's the incremental change that we need to address by changing our systems? I mean, it's all of that language, but it really is transformational.
Well, and when you think about that language, I'm thinking from the side of I have been the child of a Presbyterian minister, who toward the end the church treated very badly,
Mhm.
and that shaped kind of the way I saw churches after that. I have great memories from childhood, and then Dad became a preacher, and
Mhm.
then you go from there. I've been to different churches. There were one or two that I liked, but I moved or things like that, and then I've been to ones that really super let me down. So when you think in terms of that pilgrim, that's just my experience. Everyone has a church experience as a pilgrim. I didn't care what the bottom line was if I
Mhm.
was doing my part. I cared about when I said, and this is a real story that I've told on this podcast, when I said to one of my pastors, I had to cast a demon out of my roommate last night. What do I do? And never got a call back. Or when I went to a pastor as a younger adult and said, hey, there's a married man and he's coming on hard and I need counsel and prayer, and never got a call back. So to me, if you would have said, "Yeah, but the church is flush," we're
Yeah,
doing
Mhm.
good, I would have been like, "That's not my money, man, not anymore."
yeah,
So to me, I think that's where the divide is when we talk about what sometimes the church is to some, and what it has to be on the business side, and what it is to the actual customers. if we're going to talk
Yeah.
in terms of business,
Well, the business side is important. The structure, the provision, the opportunity to do ministry, all that is helped by people who think in those ways. It's just, I would posit, easy to lose why we're there.
Yeah.
You had individual failures, and those individual failures, y'all know the line, well, it's not personal, it's just business.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always personal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way we're people.
Yeah.
It's always personal. Because I get, y'all, excuse me, pardon me, looking for the cough button.
Yeah.
You know, my
No,
first time
there is
here.
none.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know where that is, but I'm
Right.
pushing something here or someone. Daniel, help me. So, I apologize, Therese, because we're new friends.
Sure.
But if the Clinique counter girl doesn't see you and respond to you, you don't say, I'm not ever going in Belk again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a different counter and you just get over it.
But we do that in the church
Mm-hmm.
because our expectations are different, and they ought to be different. I'm not overdoing the metaphor here, but it's easy to make the fact that everything is personal projected on the entire body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we are brand new friends. 6 minutes.
As a matter
Yeah.
of fact.
6 minutes.
Right.
And, and just getting personal real quickly.
Sure.
Hello, people.
Oh, we're always personal in here.
We
It's
are.
good. Yeah.
Good. Well, I would hate for you to miss the community and the camaraderie of broken people like I am and like you
Mhm.
are because of that.
And-
And I know you're putting your life back toward the church. Am I right, Therese?
Well, so the good story is that about 8 years ago, I found Southside Baptist Church,
Right.
which is on Raymond Road in Jackson, and it is people from all walks of life. We've got everything from homeless and ex-gang members and whatever, all the way up to suburban doctors and whatnot. I always say that, but I don't know who the suburban doctor is. Anyway, but I mean, just that general. And the thing was, the difference when I first went into Southside Baptist Church, the doors opened and I felt the love hit me in the face. It was like a physical force. And I've experienced that. And what we always say is that all of us are broken. There's no power dynamic.
right.
There's no, and I
That's
feel
right.
like I always say, we've got black, white, Hispanic, and we've got people of all kinds. And this is what heaven's going to look like. And that's the physical side of what heaven's going to look like. But I feel like in every church, you have those dynamics. It's just, for me, a smaller church has proven to be a better situation with people from all kinds of backgrounds, because my life has been one that has needed has seen all kinds of backgrounds, but also I need a little more personal touch. And I feel like there are people who thrive better in the larger churches, and there are people who thrive better in smaller churches. And so, yes, I pulled it out of the fire, probably literally, but I feel like my experience is one that is somewhat similar to a lot of Christians, is that feeling of I've been let down.
You said something so good just a second ago. When the church doors opened, you felt the love. You didn't feel the business side of the church.
Right.
You didn't feel the side of, well, we got to pay the light bill this month and the tithes aren't enough.
And
You
let
know.
me add, for Southside, that is always an issue.
Yes.
But God always comes
He
through.
always
Yeah.
provides. So you felt the love of the church. You didn't feel the business of the church. And isn't that how we're supposed to be as the church today?
And there are big places who pay the bills and have resources who you feel the love there too.
Sure.
The sociology of it, I'm sorry, I don't know why
You're
this
I think
Help me,
something's going
Daddy.
around right now.
is, or what that is. I don't normally, because we're at the crack of dawn. No, we're not.
Sort of.
There are great and large congregations, but the sociology of it is, anecdote, my best friend and I were looking at colleges when we were high school seniors. And Ray, one of the smartest guys I know, so Ray and I are looking at Baylor and Samford and Vanderbilt like I could get in. And Ray said something that stuck with me forever. He said, really, at the end of the day, after the college delivers your major, You only know 40 people anyway.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about that for the last 50 years or more, in that it doesn't matter how big First Church, whatever it is, or suburban big church is, you really only know about 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was a face at a church with multiple thousands of members, and I wave at everybody in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I had about 40 friends.
Yeah.
Who you had more time with. Southside is not a cautionary tale, it's a celebration, because the pastor has been faithful to
Man.
minister to the community and champion that at great cost to him and that body. 45, 50 years ago, Southside did not look like that.
Right.
Mm.
And their commitment to that community was not that. Without waxing too long here, you just throw something at me, Barbie. So I served a church as I was a first youth and whatever assistant at the church I referenced earlier. I'm a junior at college at Mississippi College, and I said to Bradley Pope, the BSU director, Pope, I'm ready to be a youth minister. And he said, well, I've got a request on my desk. He said, but I don't know if you're ready for this. This is a tough place. So he sent me to a church that had just fired the youth minister, because the youth minister, who was a young older college age guy, and his wife had invited an African girl who had come to Christ from what was then the International Mission Board of the Southern Baptist Convention in Africa, came to Mississippi College to study in the nursing school. He took her to church on Easter Sunday morning. They fired him on Wednesday.
Wow.
Right.
So I didn't know that in that conversation. I went to that church. I was the youth minister, the minister of music, left. I became the minister of music and youth, and made another, $100.12. I'm like, weren't you paying him $35? I made another $100. But anyway, so I go there, and it was staunchly, we're not serving our community. They're gone. My wife's home church, 2 or 3 miles from there, it's gone. The big moneyed church I served in the 80s had a history of not loving people. They are gone.
Mm.
They refuse to change. They refuse to serve. They're gone. And occasionally in consulting or conversations with people who are struggling with their church and their ministry, I say, God, the church is the body of Christ, the bride of Christ, which implies intimacy and relationship. God is not obligated to keep our churches alive and the doors open. That's an obedience dynamic that the Father rewards, I believe, and blesses when we serve like a Southside.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's a struggle. And sociologically, I mean, which is not the dominant value in the room, but it's an observation, it's descriptive. We tend to love people like us.
Sure. Well, and I was going to ask you too. I feel like a lot of times we look for a church. We talk about it being a hospital. You know, you go to the
Oh,
hospital
right.
when you're sick. But we go for the reasons that we need something.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like I go because I'm searching for something, or because I need to find God, or I need to commune. Um, how do you translate that in your congregation to where those people who come searching then start giving to each other and to as the daughter of a pastor, nobody needs it more than the pastor's family.
Yeah, that's a great question. A couple of dynamics there. I read a book many years ago, just brought it to mind. The church is like a hospital where it's against the rules for the patients to admit they're in the hospital or what their illness is. And the doctors can make rounds, but shouldn't delve too deeply into what that illness is.
Mm-hmm.
So we all pretend we're fine while we're in the hospital.
Yes.
That's number one. And that is modeled by, and I'm just riffing off of Southside here,
Mm-hmm.
your pastor who says we're all broken and then lives that out
Yeah.
so that there is an environment where it's safe to say, I'm broken. And that's not it's not a pity party. It's not a celebration of ineptitude and moral
Mhm.
failure. It's just the reality that at the heart of all of us, uh, we we don't possess it. It's the work of God through grace in our life alone.
Well, and it makes a safe zone.
It
I'm
does.
not hiding anything from you because you and I are all of us here are broken.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that way I can love you because I'm not hiding anything from you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say that there are so many people who are searching for the perfect church, and the
Mhm.
perfect church does not exist. I'm a member of a Facebook group here locally that it's only of moms, and it's almost weekly that a mom will post, you know, where's the church that me and my family can go to that is not judgmental? And I think, oh, sister, good luck
Yeah.
finding that, because everybody, as you said, everybody's in the hospital, but nobody wants to admit why they're there.
Yeah.
So this is a deep discussion,
Mhm.
and we're going to continue this conversation over on our Patreon channel. We hope that you will hop on over there because that's where we're going to have a little bit more of a discussion of this discussion. And we are actually going to have you back for another
Great.
episode,
Great. That's
which
right.
we're excited about. So if you liked this episode with Gary Mays, you're going to love our second episode. But hop on over to the Patreon channel, and we will see you there. Until next time here on Y'all Listen Here.